hereby submit the report of the Subcommittee on Communications on the 2022 budget proposal of the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy and its parastatals for your consideration and approval. The subcommittee met with the Honorable Minister and key officials of the Ministry of Communications and Digital Economy and its parastatals and deliberated exhaustively and satisfactorily on the proposal. For the fiscal year 2022, the executive allocated a total sum of 160 million, I won't say the rest, billion, to the main ministry and its parastatals. Recurrent expenditure took the lion's share in the sum of 23 billion, out of which the sum of 22 billion and 79 million are allocated as personnel and overhead costs, respectively. Capital projects are given the sum of 137 billion to cater for new and ongoing expenditure. In active consultations with the main ministry and collaboration with our ICT and Communications Committee counterparts in the Senate and House of Representatives, respectively, the subcommittee deducted a sum of 81 billion met for a new project in the multilateral bilateral project tied loans, National Information Communication Technology Infrastructural Backbone, Phase 2, project meant for Galaxy Backbone, from the total capital expenditure of 85 billion for the main ministry, leaving a balance of 4 billion, which constitute the actual capital expenditure for the main ministry. In line with the request of the Honorable Minister of Communication and Digital Economy, the subcommittee also deducted a sum of 200 million from the actual capital expenditure of the main ministry as capital expenditure allocated to the Nigerian Postal Service, NIPOST. Furthermore, in active collaboration with the main ministry and subcommittee, also deducted a sum of 201 million, representing 5% of the 4 billion meant as actual total capital expenditure for the main ministry in order to cater for four new projects. The newly included projects are denoted new in the main report of the subcommittee, and a sum of 200 million is provided as capital expenditure allocated for NIPOST, as explained in paragraph B. The subcommittee retained the total budgeted expenditure of 160 billion for the main ministry and its parastatals. Recommendations. The subcommittee hereby recommends as follows: that the Committee on Appropriation is hereby urged to approve the sum of 160 billion 593 million 469,686 naira only for the ministry and its parastatals. Below is the analysis of the recommended expenditure of the Ministry of Communication and Digital Economy and its parastatals for the fiscal year 2022. So, because NIPOST doesn't really have any capital budget, so we decided, all of us during the last meeting, that NIPOST is supposed to be given something. As we speak, we've already moved. We've already passed the third reading on NIPOST bill in the chambers, and our colleague in the House, as we speak today, are also trying to do the concurrence today, so which they are doing as we speak, if God permits. So we believe that NIPOST should be given the right autonomy to operate fully. But that is why most people are complaining about NIPOST, that they are a dead organization. But they have a lot of things available for them if they are given the right laws to work with, and that's what we're trying to do. But meanwhile, while we wait on that, the minister magnanimously agreed that we should, from his own capital, is going to give them a stipend of 200 million to start doing something. So, and that is where the 200 million came from, and it's still from capital to another capital. It's within the budget.
So the chair is within the 5% threshold. Oh, that's good. So having
pretty well, because if you don't really have much to defend, it will go quite quickly, because the overhead and expenditure is fixed. So what we really concentrate on more is the capital expenditure, which you will see that there's nothing much. They only have about 4 billion, and the minister has magnanimously decided to give 200 million to NIPOST. And then which is by law, they used to say, thank God that people are quiet about padding. But what padding is done is like, at times we take all these projects, it's within the ambience of capital, and take it back to our various constituencies, which we've done. So 4 new projects are introduced within the ambience of the capital project at an amount of 5%. So you see that it's nothing. It's not that it's really affecting the ministry's budget. So they can work with 95, and then they can give to us to ensure that at least our people back home, they have something that they will say, oh, Ministry of Communication has done for them.
And see, there are some people who hold the view that
they are also, trying to do their concurrence in the House of Rep as we speak today. So we have done our parts, months ago, and with a lot of activities they couldn't do that. But today we pray that they will be able to do that, and then we just pray that the President accent it into law.
Thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you. At least travel to countries that they will say, oh, they observe best practices. I will tell you that in the times I lived, even in the US, even at times when I go to London, I use the post office. All these other, delivery agencies that they have, I don't want to name names, but they come as like a second option. As we speak, and NIPOST is supposed to be doing very well. If they are built up real well, they can also have like a bank. If I want to even exchange money when I go abroad, I go to the post office. At times you go to the bank, you have the option of the post office. So if you have that, why can't we develop a postal system so that, in those days, years back, our postal systems, you write letters to people, they were effective. I know there are means of communication that we use now. We talk about internet and all that. But they use this, they all use it abroad as well. But still, their postal agencies are still viable. So why would we not try to revive what NIPOST can do for us? And as we speak, the laws we proposed is to give them the autonomy they require, and they have a lot of properties that they can also go into real estate and and that they can be self-sustaining. That is all we've done. Okay. And we look forward to a viable NIPOST that Nigerians will be proud of, and then our children that are coming, it will be less laborious for them and less expensive, because NIPOST and the postal agencies will give an like an alternative where postal system becomes cheaper, because it has to be available for all, that they can go to post office and write to loved ones. Christmas is coming. How do you send packages to people? And those are the options that we are looking at, and it will create more jobs.
Employment opportunities.
It will create more jobs. That's what I just said. It will create more jobs. So thank you.
Thank you very much.